It is 6 o'clock, and at this time, if everyone will stand, we will call this city council meeting to order. At this time, we will have a moment of silence. Before we do that, I want you to remember Dr. Horace Hambrick, who passed away recently, and his profound impact on this community. And he and I go back way back from my days as a pool. So, but keep Councilman Hambrick in your prayers and our family as they move forward in this difficult time. So let's have a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, I'm asking Councilwoman Sames, would she would lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated, and welcome each of you to the Georgetown City Council meeting for Monday, September the 8th, 2025. We're here to conduct business for the city of Georgetown. We will follow the agenda as print. And at this time, item number 2, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Mrs. Wilkins-Brent.
Here.
Mr. Crisp. Here. Mrs. Hambrick. Mr. Hampton.
Here.
Mr. Minke.
Present.
Mrs. Lesby Mitchell. Here. Mrs. Tingle Sames.
Here.
Mr. Stone.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, Council, item 3, you have received the minutes. At this time, I would entertain a motion for the minutes.
Motion, Mayor.
Motion made by Ms. Sames. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hampton. Are there further questions and/or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Item 4, the receipt of the check registry. If you have received that, please raise your hand. Thank you. At the record reflect that it passed. That it was received. Events application, Thrill to Give Parade. Oh, there's someone here? Okay. Mr. Beckett.
Yes. I'm filling in this evening. Hopefully you don't have many questions. But I'm here for Miss Hardy. So it's the Parks and Rec Dance program that does the Thrilled to Give Parade. It's a fundraiser for the Amen House. So we did the event application. Just we're asking for Main Street to be shut down for a block or block and a half. Same thing they've done for lots of years. The dance down the street and usually get a great crowd.
Motion, Mayor.
All right. Motion made by Ms. Mitchell. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second made by Ms. Brent. Are there further questions and/or comments? Yes.
Yeah, so
I'll do my best. I warned you, but
So I'm just wondering, does this need to be on Main Street, or can this be done at the pavilion, which was intended for these kinds of things?
well, I don't know if I have a great answer for you on that. I think it's kind of the look. I don't know if it's a Rocky Horror Picture Show or like the Thriller music video where you're coming down the main street, like they're going for that vibe. It's been happening for a long time.
Are we, could I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
It is an event that goes, it goes all the way down the street, and people are out in their yards and watching, and I don't think it would have the effect if it were down here. There's some events where they have booths and things, but this is kind of like, it's a parade.
Yeah.
And you don't have far to parade down here.
And I think it's one of those rolling parades at that, and it just goes from one spot to another spot, correctly?
Yeah, they play the music and they do their dance all the way down the
Dance
street.
all the way down, and they're done.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have carts around to take donations for the
Yep.
Amen House.
And just one more thing, there's other communities like Lexington, they do it downtown also. It's
And-
just something that's.
And Cynthiana.
It's kind of a national-wide thing that got started to do Thriller and
do a deal. And it's not that long,
No, it's rolling.
maybe an hour at the most.
Yeah.
Well, in
Yeah.
the application, it says 4 hours, 5 to 9.
It does say that,
They
yes.
close the street at 5.
Yeah.
And then to clear everybody out, it's by 9.
Then
They
we
have a
the
couple of
walk
little
and-
other events too, some dance competitions and,
And then after that, they got cleanup and everything if there's needed, correct? Okay.
I have one question.
Yes.
Are you dancing?
I can answer that one. That's a no. I did help judge last year. There's like a costume contest and things that go along with it. So, and they do partner with local businesses
Yes,
that are
they do.
on Main Street that do deals and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's,
Mr. Gibb, there is a lot of costumes and all that.
And I think some of the business have some their menus and stuff.
Yes.
Some of
Yep.
will take part in that,
Yep.
make up some special brew to,
That's right.
to
Miss Artie's good about that. They've
Yeah.
done it for a lot of years now.
Mayor, do they need a certificate of insurance? I don't see one on here.
they are working on that with Parks and Rec. You have to go through, I think it's with KLC.
Yeah, we're with KLC. So
Okay.
yes, we will get that. No problem.
Oh, okay. Any other questions? And I had a motion made and second. Are there further any questions and or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. At this time, we have public comments, and remind you, public comments, when you come to the podium, be sure to give us your name for record, and you will have 4 minutes in which to bring whatever concern or that you want to bring. At the end of that 4 minutes, you will be asked to, the Madam Clerk will keep a time. At 3 minutes, she'll let you know that you have 1 minute left. And then at the end of 4 minutes, we will ask that you finish it up, and so we can be respectful of time in case other people wants to express. All right, so, and you should have signed in. Is anybody else who has not signed in that wanted to speak? I want to make sure I get everybody before I turn it loose. All right. First, I have Mr. David Wilson, and he's going to talk about street development. Okay?
Yes, my name is David Wilson, and the reason I'm here is because I have interest in some property on Roach Street, which comes off of Bridge Street. The street hasn't been developed, but if you go back to your old maps, Roach Street begins at Brown Street, which is now Martin Luther King, and it runs to the railroad track. And the reason it used to cross the railroad track in the earlier days, but a guy by the name of Troy Marks was killed by a train, ran over by a train, so they closed that section off. And basically the same thing happened to Hamilton Street when a couple of guys got their trailer while they were crossing, didn't make it across, and the train hit it, and they closed it off as well. But getting back to Bridge Street Bridge Street's supposed to come straight through across the railroad track all the way down to the creek. I understand that you cannot run the road to the creek because it's probably a 45-degree drop-off when you get just about to the last lot down there. But as a kid, my grandfather used to raise tobacco over there, and we would have to take a horse down through there. And it's much better, it was much better then than it is now because it was troublesome. And we almost had to beat the horse to get him up the hill. But back then, even Bourbon Street from Brown Street to Paris Pike was gravel. So we understood that, we didn't question it. But now, we have a need for that property. It could be developed, and it's large enough, it's an acre lot in size. And then also right on Bridge Street, it's a continuation that runs there. On that same area, there's about 4/10 of a lot, a half, maybe almost a half acre lot as well. I'm not saying you can build on it, but it could have some use, if no more than just widening the road for the future. So my concern is, I've talked to Hightower. Actually, is it planning? Is that planning? Is he in charge of planning? Nobody knows Hightower?
Yes, I do. He's
Oh, is that
city
him?
engineer.
Oh, I didn't recognize him. I've been up there twice to talk to him, and I haven't gotten a satisfactory answer from him. And they kind of told me that, and then I went down where the old water company used to be, where you paid the water bill at one time, the brick building down there. I went down there and talked to them, and the guy tried to tell me it was abandoned. The property, I understand what he was saying. There is a lot over there that is abandoned. I agree with that. But that particular road, and right now, I could not take a vehicle to get over there unless I cross over on somebody else's property because it's a drop-off. You build it up and it's about almost a 2.5-foot drop-off, which would, if a car come down there, you wouldn't be able to get back out without getting onto someone else's property. So what I would like for you to do, and your planner, I think, is it planning? Hightower, are you in
No.
planning?
So are you,
What?
he's the engineer, he's the city engineer.
I can't understand what you're saying.
I'm sorry, he's the city engineer.
Oh, city engineer.
He's the city engineer.
Okay, we'll get that straight. Okay.
Okay.
He's the city engineer.
Okay.
When I talked to him, he told me that I could build the road and then designate it to the city. Why? The road's already on city property now. I told him, if I was to develop that acre lot down there and put some houses or something back there, yes, I would expect to build a road, and then I would dedicate it to the city. But I should have access to that road, to my property.
Okay.
And this is my first time, and it won't be my last time.
That's 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's my 4 minutes? Well,
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
fine. Okay, you can discuss it, and I'll be back again if nothing's done.
Thank you. All right, next, Mr. Dan Holman.
Dan Holman, Georgetown. So yeah, just quickly mentioning about David's comments, this Bridge Street area is a very important thing that the council should be paying attention to. It is an abandoned part of town that needs rehabilitation. According to this housing needs assessment that came out, this would be a very good candidate for a lot of the principles they mentioned. Rick Toney at the Housing Authority in a board meeting specifically highlighted this area as an important area to focus on in terms of development and rejuvenation. You all should talk to David about possibly you should buy as much property over in the Bridge Street area as you can. You should fix the bridge, and the city just needs to get paying attention over there. A small area plan needs to be developed for that area, just like a small area plan needs to be developed for the area behind the cemetery. So you should put in a request for a small area plan to start going. So I was here to talk about the water issues. There's a Facebook group that I just recently joined. It's called Georgetown, Kentucky Water Complaints. And to make it a more positive spin, you could just call it issues and questions. But there's about almost 500 people that are in that Facebook group, and they've been talking for a while. And they met recently at the library last week, and Todd Stone was there. So unfortunately, he's not here today, but he's kind of the sponsor of this group, and he's talked to a lot of people about water company questions. So mainly, there's just a lot of questions that people have in the town, about water. Like they don't all, know. Not everybody knows everything that you all know, but so there's, as we saw with the sewer issue that came up several years ago, there's just a lot of water is a political issue in the town that people are interested in because it's something they can feel and taste and smell. It's critical to their lives. It's an important thing that people are interested in. So just as much involvement of the community in these issues as possible would be great. So yeah, at the early August, our wastewater treatment plant is apparently going online September 30th. So we're sort of in a new phase of sewer in town. Chase mentioned, he gave his Burton water pressure pipe presentation at a recent council meeting. And it was mentioned there that just like sewer has been a big hot topic with a lot of money and infrastructure over the last several years, he notified the council, you're about to see a lot of water supply issues coming up, infrastructure issues, mainly because Royal Springs is at capacity and we're already having to buy water from other places. So there's like some like to pipe water from Frankfurt, which is on the table, is apparently a $200 million project that is maybe going to be coming forth for this city to make decisions about if that's what you want to do or not. So anyway, there's just a lot of questions that people have, and I just wrote down from the meeting the other day, I wrote down some questions people had, and these are some of my own questions. And if you all could read through these, basically.
That's 3 minutes.
3 minutes. So the request would be that could we start this process by inviting people to ask their questions instead of on the Facebook page, actually, and Todd is engaged, but could the rest of us get engaged in answering, being aware of these questions and then getting them answered in full. One, it would be great to set up a project page on the website, similar to the business park thing, where you just post studies about, water, about all things water. Have a section where people can go and like studies and proposals and documents and questions and answers are in this place. So that would be great. That's one tangible item. So then in terms of just getting the process of answering these questions, you all will need to read these questions and think about it. But hopefully at some point very soon, we could have an official process in place for engaging the public in this water issue that's you're going to be seeing it. Chase even said, in this calendar year, you're going to be seeing some really big things coming. So it's time to get started.
Thank you.
Engaging the public.
Thank you. All right. All right. Thank you. Now we're going to go to item number 7, which is mayor comments. Got a couple of things to bring forward to you on that. First, I'm going to ask, is Chief Allgood, or you want to be here to do the introduction of Officer Clary? Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Mayor and council, tonight we have the pleasure to introduce Officer Cleary to you. He was born and raised in Central Kentucky as a graduate of Lexington Catholic in 2014. From there, he went to play college baseball, both in Ohio and South Carolina. Then came back, worked at the Fayette County Detention Center from 2019 to 2021. Then he transferred over to Lexington Metro until just a few months ago this year. So while he was there, he was a field training officer and a member of the Downtown Entertainment District. He has an older brother and sister that live in Louisville, and he's about finished with his field training here, and hopefully we'll get him cut loose this week if everything goes right. So we're glad to have him with his experience, and we welcome him.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Allgood. A couple of items on mayor's comment. We had a outstanding weekend with the Festival of the Horse, one of the better ones, in talking with some of the business people downtown, and I took part in that for 3 days. And I had some guests with me. I had the Mayor Yasamasti and his group, 10 delegates, plus 4 private citizens who came over, and we had an opportunity to show them the highlights of Georgetown. They had a lot of fun, and talking about this special relationship, we had a farewell dinner last night. When thanks to some of the council members who came to that, and I mentioned this in my talk last night. This is really a special type of relationship. I think Karen has gone there, Kim has gone to Japan, and I'm about ready to put my feet on the wings of the plane and trust that they get me there. I'm looking forward to get on that plane on Wednesday. Not looking forward to the 18-hour flight time, but anyway, just to go over and actually experience that culture for the first time will be an eye-opening. But as I mentioned last night, when I saw some of the reactions of that delegation with some of the people that had been here, and even Karen, some of the people that she had made a lifelong friendship with.
Absolutely.
And it is special. And the last time we went was Mayor Prather took a group in 2015, and they tried to go, but COVID stopped them, and so they had to revamp. They tried to do it through Zoom. It wasn't as effective, and here we are. He came to me and asked, would I consider, reviving this relationship, and I said absolutely, and had a committee to do that, and they put this together, and want to thank them. Want to thank Robert Bruin and his group from Public Works, who kept the UCO in great shape, and all the other things that was done. But it was really a great opportunity and to host them. I learned a lot, made some friendships. So they asked me as I was saying goodbye to them, don't forget, you come to Tahara next week. I said, I'll be there, Lord's willing. So I'm looking forward to that, but I just want to say thank you to this council for the support of getting this done, because I think it's really important. And again, the Festival of the Horse was I think one of the best I've seen, and it was crowded, but that's a good thing. I've talked to some of the business owners, and they really felt that it was a great event. Thank you, Chief Allgood, for your support. They were visible in every aspect. And it's one thing the business owners said, that they felt safe because they knew where the police were, and they knew that they were on point at all times. Also, the Public Works and Robert Bruin, his staff, before and after pictures, before, then during the festival, crowds of people, all the mess. Then you look at this morning, I was up early, and I'm going, it looked like nothing was ever there. And that's a contributor to you, Chief Bruin, and your staff. As always, you make everything look so easy, and we appreciate that. And Chief Johnson, all your group people are also there and in support. And that's what people don't understand, that this happens not by chance. It happens because the collaboration of all these agencies coming together. And people are envious of Georgetown for this festival. They come from all over, all the 9-county region to this, and they always say, you all put on one of the best festivals ever. And I'm thinking this is what, 40-something years to be exact. I think she said, and excuse me if my math is wrong, but I think somewhere between 40 to 44 years of this. So we're doing something right. So I want to mention that and on that particular topic. Next is item on committees. Oh, before I do that, let me back up. There's one other thing I want to get this council, make sure they an update, and also the public. I asked the councilwoman, Ms. Mitchell, to give us a little bit of an update on some beautification and some ideas. So I'll let you roll with that.
Okay, Mayor asked me to be on the beautification committee, and I just wanted to, we haven't reported for a while, and I just wanted to let you know there's a few people in this room who are also on the committee, Eddie and Robert and Drew and Holden. So we just completed, if you haven't noticed, we're have just completed work at the Peninsula Park, the old Moss Park is what it used to be called. So if you get a chance to drive out there and get out and walk around, you'll notice that it's been cleaned up. There's been all sorts of plantings going on, and we're just about where we want to be there. And we have moved on to talking about a new area to beautify. And that area where we talked about is the corner of Clayton and South Broadway. And most of you will remember that a few years ago, we bought the property, the city bought the property, and we had the intention of refurbishing the house that was on it. And when we got in there to look at it, it was going to be irresponsible to our taxpayers to spend as much money as it was going to cost to make it safe. And so it was torn down. And it looks okay, because Robert and his people have done some work in keeping that, it's flat green space now. But what we want to do, that's a prominent corner of Georgetown. It's an entry point for a lot of people. And what we want to do there is do some work to beautify. And what we have in mind is we have flowering trees, we have shrubs, we have spring bulbs. We want to do some sort of a walking path through it, a loop sort of, because there is only one way in and one way out because of houses behind and the culvert beside. We want to have some park benches, and we want to do some lighting, among other things. And right now, people on the committee are working to do some renderings, and we're looking forward to seeing those soon. But the main reason I wanted to mention this tonight was because of a thought that came to mind. Dr. Horace Hambrick was a great member of our community, and many people are looking for a way to honor him. And he went to Garth School. All his children went to Garth School. He's, integral to the center of Georgetown. And the thought came to me that maybe we should name the park the Horace Porter Hambrick Memorial Park. The city owns it, and it's up to the city if we decide that we would like to do that. And I wanted to take this opportunity to throw that out there and see what you all thought about it. The beautification committee does not use city funds unless we ask for them specifically to do the work there. And we plan on doing things like we always do with our committee. But there are a lot of people in town who are looking for ways to honor him, and maybe buying a tree or, bricks around a sidewalk, things like that might appeal to some of the people in the community. And I'll just ask that maybe you guys think about that, and maybe that's something that we could do to honor him.
It's a lovely idea.
Yep. Again, that's that. I cannot think no better way. Like I said, I known Dr. Hambrick for a long time. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, when I came to Georgetown, when I graduated, my first job at the Suffolk Pool, matter of fact, he was a lifeguard there, along with Lewis Wolf and myself and his sister Mary Birch. And so we go back. And matter of fact, when I went to visit him, he talked about that. Say, remember the time we took duct tape and did it? I said, yeah, I remember a lot of time we did duct tape. But he's just a pillar for this community, and he will be missed. And he has really dedicated his heart and everything about it to this community. And I cannot think of no more fitting way to that. And I think it's something we can look at and we can have discussion with, and hopefully maybe be able to do something with that. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Now, next is we have council committee reports, and we've got the fire committee. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
The fire committee met on August 28th at the Georgetown Fire Department Training Center, and in attendance were myself, Mr. Mayor, and various members of staff. Chief Johnson provided updates on the department's apparatus needs. The committee received information on the stock engine currently being acquired, the progress of the custom engines order, and the status of the stock ladder truck purchase that was approved for the fiscal year 2026 budget. There was a change order discussed that we'll let Chief Johnson either address tonight or another time, that relatively minor budgetary change order that will help the fire department regarding headroom in some of the vehicles. The committee also heard an update on Station 1, including ongoing planning and facility needs. Chief Johnson also reported on hiring and promotions within the department. Applications and recruitment remain strong, and the promotional process is underway to fill leadership roles. The department had over 200 applicants, 90 of which tested, approximately 60 to 70 passed, and interviews are being conducted this week with the expectation of 10 new hires, perhaps 11, but more likely 10. And the second week of October is when the recruiting class will begin, and it's likely to be the largest recruiting class ever for Georgetown Fire Department. General fire department updates were provided covering operational priorities and equipment needs. The committee continued discussion regarding recovery residences operating in Georgetown. Emphasis was placed on ensuring that these facilities meet safety standards through inspections and possible local certification processes. This is also an item that will be brought before council fairly soon. The committee was in favor of that as well. Finally, Assistant Chief Johnson also briefed the committee on general code enforcement activities and noted areas of focus moving forward. And that's it.
Thank you, Councilman Chris. All right. Next, we have item number 9. We have A, B, C, and D. Item A on the second reading for the annexation ordinance 1938 and 2020 Frankfurt Road. Sponsors are Kim Minke and Tammy Lusby Mitchell. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance annexing into the city of Georgetown certain real property containing approximately .8 plus or minus and .9 plus or minus acres located at or around 1938 and 2020 Frankfurt Road, Georgetown, Scott County, Kentucky. Summary 1. Annexes into Georgetown city limits by written consent of the property owners in accordance with KRS 81A 412, approximately .8 plus or minus and .9 plus or minus acres located at or around 1938 and 2020 Frankfurt Road, Scott County PVA parcel numbers 112-40-025.000 and 113-20-003.000 respectively from A1 agricultural to B2 highway commercial. 2, provides for repeal of inconsistent laws, severability of provisions, and an effective date upon passage and publication. The full text of this ordinance can be found, is available for examination in the city clerk's office, 629 North Broadway, Georgetown, Kentucky, 40324, or at www.georgetownky.gov. Publicly introduced and read for the first time August 25th, 2025. Publicly read the second time September 8th, 2025.
All right, council, at this time, you have had the motion for this ordinance for the second reading. At this time, do I have a motion? Motion made by Ms. Mitchell. Do I have a second? Second made by Mr. Minke. Are there further questions and or comments? At this time, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mrs. Tingle Sames?
Yes.
Mrs. Lusby Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Minke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Mr. Crisp?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilkins Brent?
Yes.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that the motion passed 6-0. Next, item B, zone change ordinance, 1938 and 2020 Frankfurt Road. Sponsors Kim Minke and Tammy Lusby Mitchell. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance changing the zoning classification of certain real property containing approximately 0.8 plus or minus and 0.9 plus or minus acres located at or around 1938 and 2020 Frankfurt Road, Georgetown, Scott County, Kentucky, from A1 to B2. Summary: rezones approximately 0.8 plus or minus and or 0.9 plus or minus acres located at or around 1938 and 2020 Frankfurt Road, Scott County, PVA parcel number 112-40-025.000 and 113-20-003.000, respectively, from A1 agricultural to B2 highway commercial, contingent upon and effective only after the passage and publication of an ordinance annexing the subject property into city limits. 2, provides for repeal of inconsistent laws, severability of provisions, and effective date upon passage and publication. The full text of this ordinance is available for examination in the city clerk's office, 629 North Broadway, Georgetown, Kentucky, 40324, or at www.georgetownky.gov. Publicly introduced and read for the first time August 25th, 2025. Publicly read the second time September 8th, 2025.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Minke. Do I have a second? Second made by Ms. Mitchell. Are there further questions and or comments? Madam Clerk, you have roll call.
Mrs. Wilkins Brent?
Yes.
Mr. Crisp?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Mr. Minke?
Yes.
Mrs. Lusby Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Tingle Saints?
Yes.
Thank you. Item C, the gas franchise ordinance, which we had brought before from Columbia Gas. Sponsors are Tammy Lusby Mitchell and Greg Hampton. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance confirming the sale and awarding a non-exclusive franchise to Columbia Gas for the placement of facilities for the transmission, distribution, and sale of gas for heating and other purposes within the public rights-of-way of the city of Georgetown for an initial 10-year period with up to 2 additional extensions of time of 5 years each, reserving the right to impose a franchise fee not to exceed 5% of each franchise franchisees' gross annual revenues from the sale, distribution, and delivery of gas within the city of Georgetown, all effective on date of passage. Summary. 1, awards the bid of non-exclusive gas franchise established in ordinance 2014-017 to Columbia Gas and authorizes the mayor to sign a gas franchise agreement. 2, provides for repeal of inconsistent ordinances, severability of provisions, and an effective date upon passage and publication. The full text of this ordinance is available for examination in the city clerk's office, 629 North Broadway, Georgetown, Kentucky, 40324, or www.georgetownky.gov. Introduced and publicly read for the first time August 25th, 2025, publicly read the second time September 8th, 2025.
Thank you. She have read the ordinance for the second time. At this time, would I entertain a motion?
Motion, Mayor.
Motion made by Mr. Hampton. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second made by Ms. Brent. Are there further questions and/or comments? At this time, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Mr. Minky?
Yes.
Mrs. Lesby Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Tingle Sames?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilkins Brent?
Yes.
Mr. Crisp?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Thank you. Item D, ordinance amendment, open fire permit fees. Sponsors of Karen Tingle Sains. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance amending section 16-1 subsection B of the Georgetown Code of Ordinances regarding open fire permit fees. Summary. 1, amend section 16-1 section B of the Georgetown Code of Ordinances relating to the issuance of open fire permits to allow the fee for said permit to be waived for local 501c3 organizations up to 4 times per calendar year. 2, provides for repeal of inconsistent ordinances, severability of provisions, and an effective date upon passage and publication. The full text of this ordinance is available for examination in the city clerk's office, 629 North Broadway, Georgetown, Kentucky, 40324, or at www.georgetownky.gov. Introduced and publicly read for the first time August 25th, 2025, publicly read the second time September 8th, 2025.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. You have been read for the second time the ordinance amendment for the open fire permit fees. At this time, I will entertain a motion.
Motion, Mayor.
Motion made by Ms. Sames. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Mitchell. Are there further questions and/or comments? Madam, yes.
So, just a comment. I think the whole purpose behind the burning fee permit is to minimize and appropriately manage the open burning that we have here. I think one of the things that's really important to stress is we have a great program through Public Works that goes around and picks up the materials for free and then mulches that provides mulch for the citizens and, for public use. So again, I think there are plenty of opportunities out there for things to be handled free, as well as putting some mechanism in place to be able to hopefully monitor and kind of keep in check so that we don't have a lot of open burning. I think I was the one that had asked for a limit to be put on there, and I think if we go back to the history of how many permits were actually there, they're very few and far between. So having a limit of 4, to me, just incentivizes folks to utilize that and to do it more frequently, causing more issues, more potential issues, and more manpower required to manage that. So, from that perspective, I respectfully will not be in support of that activity. So,
All right. Any other comment? All right. Madam Clerk.
Mrs. Wilkins Brent?
Yes.
Mr. Crisp?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Mr. Minky?
no.
Mrs. Lesby Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Tingle Sames?
Yes.
All right. Let the record reflect it passed 5-1. Item 10, Georgetown Municipal Water Sewer Service, Chase Avizito is going to come up. First, we got two items. The first item is item A from Hazen and Sawyer for $19,941.
If I could just start by addressing Mr. Holman's public comment. I think a number of those questions, I did read through your 4 pages. I think most of those questions have been answered from this podium or in writing. However, what I want to do, there are a number of questions that I will be answering in probably the next few months' council meetings. So I'll take a look at those and we'll figure out the best way to address those and get the information out that's been requested. Is that
Okay.
fair enough?
Yep, thank you. Thank you.
So back to this first item, it's the purchase order for Hazen, the amount of $19,941. So just a little bit of background on this. Georgetown Municipal, we assumed ownership of a small wastewater treatment plant that serves Stamping Ground, Kentucky. That was back in 2005. Purchase contract recognized that Stamping Ground's water and sewer system, sanitary sewer infrastructure, it needed to come under the purview of Georgetown Municipal and the Board of Commissioners. This is a very similar situation. Same thing happened in the city of Sadieville. And the purchase agreement specifically references that continued operation of their own infrastructure was not financially possible. You can see the actual direct quotes from the purchase agreement, citing that their rates, existing rate structure did not generate sufficient revenue to pay operating expenses and debt service for continued ownership. This situation, as well as the situation with Sadieville, I think are specific instances in time where the utility and the city showed its generosity and collaboration working with its neighboring cities within Scott County. So I think these were great things when they happened, and I think that the city and the utility were able to help provide a solution when these problems came up. The last note on kind of history, the last major upgrade at wastewater treatment plant number 3 in Stamping Ground, that was in 2001. So our next slide, just pointing out that we're coming up on plant's 25th birthday, if you will, and currently our wastewater treatment plant staff have observed issues related to aging concrete. This is just natural age of concrete within the plant structures. We're seeing degradation of the concrete due to exposure to wastewater and just general freezing and thawing, being out in the elements. Surface of these concrete structures, it's going to start to spall and crack. So at this point, what we'd like to do, because to me it's not looking like it's major structural integrity issues, this is surface issues, but we don't want it to get any further. We want to delay those inevitable issues as long as we can. So we'd like to have a structural engineer that only does wastewater treatment plants come and do an inspection, do an assessment of the concrete, and recommend remedial measures in the form of surface treatments and coatings that we think will extend the life of the concrete. So we've got this price proposal, the scope of services. It includes a site visit and inspection with recommendations and then cost estimates for those recommendations. That'll be all in the form of a technical memorandum that gets submitted. We think this is the logical next step so we can be planning for these things before they become a bigger issue. So with that, I'll stop and take any questions you have.
All right. Okay. You have a question? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Chase, thanks for that review. I remember back when the Sadieville and the Stamping Ground was all taking place, and I too think that was a great step. For the folks, the general public, and maybe any of the council members that maybe weren't aware of that, how is the rate structure work? How does that work with Stamping Ground residents and Sadieville residents versus Georgetown residents?
Extend it to county residents that we serve with water and some with sewer. We have one rate structure for water, one rate structure for sewer. And so every person, regardless of where you reside, every customer is paying the minimum rate based on 2,000 gallons for water, minimum rate based on 2,000 gallons for sewer. And then there's a variable rate for any additional usage beyond the 2,000 gallons for water and sewer. So that is how we're currently structured. We don't have a rate structure that varies based on geographic location. Does that answer the?
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? At this time, council, I will entertain a motion. Motion made by Mr. Mickey. Do I have a second? Second made by... We've got a race now. Okay, so, I'm sorry, I'll get you next time. All right, Mr. Hampton, second. Are there any further comments and/or questions? All those in favor of item A, Hazen and Sawyer for $19,941, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Let the record reflect that it passed. Item B, C Square excavation for $139,370.92.
This was a city project for the sewer at Marshall Park, but city engineer, Mr. Hightower, he has informed me that he wants to go back out and do another bid to see if we can get better prices. So I don't think we need any action on that tonight. Is that correct?
No. If you will come up, please, thank you.
Sorry, Chase, I didn't make that.
Am I missing that? Is that?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're right, we are rebidding the Marshall Park, but that's for the building itself, that's for the bathrooms and the addition. We only got one bid, and we're going to try to get more bidders to get a more competitive price. Chase has agreed to partner with us on the utility line extension down to the bottom of the hill, which is what the C squared is for the sewer line, from the building down to the
That's correct.
Lazy River entranceway in the back, the Cephaletta Park.
I
So
apologize.
it's going to be, no, it's okay.
I
No,
didn't
I wanted
get
to
that
say,
correct.
Chase, I appreciate you and your staff working with us on this project, and you guys agreeing to take it on and manage it. I really appreciate that.
So I do need council action. That is something that the city, just for the board already did approve this. I got confused on that email earlier. Maybe it's
That was for
Friday.
the architectural building. Yeah.
Okay, I apologize. So we do need your approval on that, and that is, the city's paying for that. We are managing the project, and just so you're aware, those are bid prices, that $139,000. I apologize, I didn't prepare a slide for it, but this is for the sewer line extension. It is based on our unit price contract, where we have 4 contractors that bid on that work.
Okay, so we are not going to make a motion again, so I think we've already done that, so I'm not taking it off the table.
No.
Oh, we have not done that, okay, let's do it again then. All right, let me get back, it's going again, had me all kind of twisted up here, so. I'll get
Apologies,
back on the
that's on
right
me.
track. So
Sorry.
that's fine, I should know better. So, I need a motion for C Square excavation for $139,370.92.
I'll make,
All right,
You go first, I'll go second.
all right, motion made by Ms. Brent, second made by Ms. Sames.
Yes.
Okay, now, are there any further questions and/or comments? Okay, all those in favor of C Square excavating for $139,370.92, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Okay, thank you.
One more
One
quick
more
thing,
thing.
1 minute, I promise. If you'll just allow me to take a minute, I'd like to point out, it's not often I get to come point out victories. This is a small one, but I think it's worth mentioning, is that on the part of Candace Whitehouse's office, we talk about utility relief for folks that are going through hardship, and our customer service staff does a really good job of trying to make sure they're on top of where customers can go, whether it's nonprofits or churches, whatever they may be. Ms. Whitehouse, she was able to find a utility assistance program that helped one of our customers in the last few weeks, and when these opportunities are kind of few and far between these days, unfortunately, I was really happy. So she was able to assist a customer through the tenant-based rental assistance program, if I have that correct. And it's a lot of paperwork, and it took a lot of work on her part and our customer service part, but they did get it resolved. So I at least wanted to share that bit of good news with you. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Thank you for sharing. All right, next, item 11, okay, Captain Crump is going to come up here, and he's got the drone. Everybody want to look at this piece of material here. There's 2 of them.
I'm going to hand them to you here in just a second, Mr. Mayor.
You're going to hand it to me in just a second, but they're going to talk about the drone and the first responder that we purchased. So I'll turn it over to you.
So these are, I'll be quick. These are both the drones that we got. I'm going to pass these around. This is the Lemur 2. This is the indoor drone. This is the responder. And then we're going to do a demo for you with this one. That way you can see it. When you pass these around, just mind the gimbal where the camera's at.
I'm glad you're doing that because Miss Sames was so excited about having a drone flow through here. So I'm glad you're able to do that for her.
Just some things about the responder here. You'll notice that our logo's on it. There's a badge on it. It says police. It says Georgetown, Kentucky. There are some LED lights that are near the props, and those shine blue. So there's no misinterpretation that that's not the police flying that. And that's the one we're going to fly for you here in just a second. We're going to show you what live ops looks like, what a video would look like. Just generally, the drone unit, we've handled roughly over 200 calls with both combined drones. We just received the responder from Brink. Several of my officers did the training from Brink at the police department as a 2-day class that they offered. It didn't charge the city anything. We did the training. They started using it. They noticed there was a connection issue with it. They called Brink. They sent it back to Seattle, or Washington, and Brink fixed the issue and sent it back to us. Right now, we currently have 2 batteries. One of those batteries has an issue, so we are going to send that one back. It's not going to cost us any money at all. So Officer Briss is going to fly the drone from his computer here in just a second, and then Officer Catron will take it over from the controller outside, which is something that we would do live on a mission. We could take off from a cruiser or the police department, and we're going to stream it for you live here in just a second. So while they're doing that, what questions does anybody have?
I believe you flew that over the festival. Did you not have?
That's correct.
You had
Yes,
a
sir.
drone up because I
We
think
did.
we saw that out there. Yes.
Yes, sir. There was a table with these drones at it where we were answering questions for the community, and they flew our other drone over the festival as well.
Did you get a good response from the community with them?
Yes, ma'am, we did. Yes, ma'am. They were very, very appreciative of them, very excited about them.
Mr. Chris.
Yeah. What kind of legal or privacy concerns do you have with the drones? Have you ever run into any of those type of questions?
It'd be pretty simple. Obviously, if you had a backyard here and I was flying to specifically look in your backyard, I need to get a search warrant.
Okay.
If I'm flying to a call and I'm on my way back from a call, let's say there's a wreck that happens, and I just start working that wreck from the drone, then that's different. But if I'm specifically trying to investigate you, then by all means, I'm going to need some sort of legal documentation for that.
Great, okay. And are there any other cities around our size that have some similar success stories using either these types of drones or similar drones?
Well, right now, sir, it's a race. Everybody's trying to get the DFR platform and mimic what they're doing out west. I will tell you that the University of Kentucky Police Department has purchased a platform, and they do have some of these drones as well. There's other agencies that are flying some different variants of those drones, not just Brink. So there's some out there, but this is up and coming in Kentucky right now. So.
Okay, great, thank you.
And I think, you're talking about drones, before that we had these drones, I think would benefit us if we had them because we had the manhunt, and also the protection. When you had to go out looking for someone, that drone would have been very instrumental in, keeping you safe, but also identifying and finding that individual that you all were looking for.
Yes, sir, absolutely. An issue that we had just right off the top of my head was a connection issue out there. Had we had this one has a cell phone chip in it, so it talks to cell phone towers, so we wouldn't have had that connection issue. So we would have been able to use it a lot more.
Yep.
So this is what live ops looks like here. Let's see, set up ready to go. So here the pilot, he's selecting one of the 2 drones that we have. This is what it would look like here. So if something happened in the city, the chief wanted to see it and the drone was up, we could log right in and see the view live. What we're going to do is we're going to fly around City Hall for you so you can see it. And then we're going to fly over here to the window so you can look out the window and see the drone, and then that'll be the end of my presentation. So provided that all the stars align and the connection works.
Now, did you tell us this one could have it like a speaker in it, or?
Yes, ma'am. This drone does have it does everything that, they both do the same thing. So we can talk through them, we can drop things with them, we can communicate with somebody. You know, so if we delivered an EpiPen to 2 kids in a park, then we could tell the one kid how to administer the EpiPen to the other kid if we needed to, so.
That's kind of amazing, actually.
Again, if it works.
Mm-hmm.
No, we grabbed the wrong battery. So I guess the bad battery is the one they grabbed, so, do you all have any more questions on them while they're getting at?
Sure. What's the weight capacity of things that you can carry, such as with the larger drone?
Up to 5 pounds.
Wow, okay.
Up to 5 pounds with the responder and up to 1 pound with the Lemur 2. So we could fly a pack of cigarettes into somebody with the Lemur 2. We can deliver a modified life vest with the responder, for example, or a modified AED or something like that.
Can I just ask a question?
Excuse me, ma'am? No, thank you.
How many of your officers are trained on this so far? How many officers are trained?
The whole drone unit.
Okay, and how many does that make up?
8.
8.
I have 8 spread over the whole entire agency. So right now our goal is we're doing what's called a patrol lead. Drone is a first responder, so a drone pilot will come in and collect the drone and put it in his vehicle when he's not on an active call and something comes out, he can get the drone out and fly it there, handle the call or document or whatever, and then he flies it back and puts it back in his vehicle. And then likewise, we keep the other drone, the Lemur, at the agency, and if we have a barricaded subject or something like that, then we can go to the agency and get that, because when that drone's deployed, we're probably going to have other people going with it. So, but we have flown it before on, you know, people coming home from the grocery store and finding their door open. So we've flown it for things like that. And like the mayor said, this is a de-escalation tool. I can put a $14,000 piece of equipment in there as opposed to a live officer. So if I find somebody in there, then I can de-escalate with them through the drone and do what I need to do. So, okay. So we're going to try this again, and then I won't take up any more of your time. So this is a live feed that you're seeing here. Officer Brist is about to take it off from his computer.
I'm going to have Katrin take over. Katrin's outside. He has the remote. So we're going to demonstrate the abilities of a in-house pilot and a controller pilot. So you have the ability to take over from anywhere. Sorry, I'm going up the stairs. Anyways, and it also gives us a way to take over the drone if there is an emergency situation.
So this is some things that you'll see on here is what you'll see on the, we hope to have this on the website soon. You'll be able to see the flight, the map up there where the drone actually flew, and you'll be able to see the video. On our bigger calls, you know, depending on the investigation type and what it is, we'll go ahead and put the bigger stuff on our Facebook page. But this is live, what you're seeing right now. There's a little bit of a lag behind it, but not much. And then as newer technology comes out, this isn't the only responder that we're going to have. We're going to end up with 2 more of these over the life of our contract, as well as 2 more Lemurs. And each one will be more updated over the next.
And you get to keep the ones there.
Yes,
So you
sir.
don't have to worry about turning it, so you can keep it as part of your
Yes, sir.
stockpile now, right?
Yes, sir.
When you fly them at night, do drones have infrared technology or anything where you can see, you know, heat sensors or anything?
Absolutely, sir. This drone, what you're looking at, is what typically referred to as day TV. We can also flip it to thermal, which is what you would see normally. There's other modes on there as well. We can zoom in with that. That's white and black hot right there, so we can use that as a tool as well. Can you all bring it over here?
Take emergency control. So normally when it takes emergency control, you hit the wrong button. Red box will pop up and count down from 5, and it will automatically give him control of the controller. He hit the same request that I did. So it's moreover so for a safety thing, if we get disconnected from the internet, either from this computer or if the controller cannot get the responder to hit its commands, we'd be able to take over from either a secondary controller, which is the other Gleamer that we have, or a computer-based controller. So as he's taking over, he should be headed back.
How long can they fly without needing to be recharged?
I'm gonna conservatively say 25 to 30 minutes. It'd probably fly a lot longer than that. The indoor drone, not so much. It's got a shorter battery life on it, but they're super easy to change the batteries out on. So we just bring it back and swap it and push it back out. What he just demonstrated though is a tool. So if we had a power inverter and we had more batteries, we could go somewhere and another pilot could take over the drone and land it, swap a battery out, and put it right back up. So it's super efficient. So right here, the pilot's flying it. I told him to come down here to this window, so we'll see how close he can get here.
What's the charging time for batteries? I mean, you put on a charger, how long you have to take to recharge?
It's usually the same amount of time that it would last, but there's faster chargers out there.
What, 30 minutes?
Yeah, something like that, sir. And if the battery's not hot, then it would charge faster, so.
Sir, if I may.
Yes.
So our charging port. Yeah. So our charging port is a multi-charging port, and it's built specifically by Brink for certain areas. So imagine this as your normal power source, and the one up here is always our higher power source, so it will charge faster. It charges the remote like in 20 minutes. It'll charge the battery about 38 minutes. But as you go down, it goes from the 100 to 50, and normally you'll try to charge your remote first.
He's behind the council right now.
You guys.
So.
You should see, if you guys come down here, you should be able to see him right here. There's probably, you can't get into this code probably because of the proximity alert, so it doesn't hit the building. But with this, like each port you go down, the amperage goes down. So the higher the port, the faster it will charge. The need for batteries, like he said, we only have 2 right now. So once we get more batteries, we'll be able to have more flight time.
Any other questions?
Go on to the side of the building.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Council. Thank you.
All right. All right. Modern technology, love it. Next, we have council discussion, old business, planning and zoning ordinance. As you know, this council requests that we do a workshop, and just want to remind you what that workshop is going to be. September 23rd, work session, work session. It's going to be at 6 o'clock with the planning and zoning. and will be here at the fiscal court. That's September 23rd at 6 o'clock. Any questions? Yes?
Of course. So how are we going to, is that going to be a facilitated conversation, or how are we?
Devin?
At the last meeting, Councilwoman Sames had asked about the agenda. So some city staff have been able to meet with Director Fleming and talk about flow, style, how it would be most productive, knowing what we've heard from the council and the commission. So a draft agenda will go out to you all this week for a review period so that we can get feedback and make sure it's reflective of what the goals are. But we kind of met and brainstormed on that, but want to provide both the commission and the council opportunity ahead of time to review that and make sure it's going to be a productive exercise. So that should be, I'll say by close of business Wednesday, that'll be in your all's inbox for review. So,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
absolutely.
I had that on my note to say that, but glad you got it to me. All right, next we have, any other questions? All right, next we have the traffic calming study. You know, we had the information. Eddie, you want to come up with this? And while he's up there, as you know, they went through that. I think we'll talk about what next steps is and what we need to do.
Sure. Emily and I spoke about this earlier today before this meeting, and I just wanted to just point out a few things. There's 3 levels. There's Tier 1, there's Tier 2, and there's Tier 3 that are identified. And a Tier 1 is a really small project, like maybe painting a center line down a road would be an example. Putting center line striping, double lane down a road, or maybe putting up a sign, a speed sign, something of that nature. That would be handled at the traffic committee level. We meet once a month as a traffic committee, as you all know, and have a good cross-section of people. We discuss these kinds of things. If it's a Tier 2 or a Tier 3, it would come back to you, to the city council for, it would be studied, there would be a plan drawn up, it would come back to you all for approval. Something of a Tier 2 or 3 would be speed tables, speed bumps, a narrowing of a road to create a place where you get to slow down, something of that nature, which is more expensive and more involved, and would have to come back to the city council for approval. So that's the plan, and then it identifies a whole bunch of different tools, if you will, that we could go to at the traffic committee request. You all would request it to the mayor. Mayor would put it on traffic committee, and then we would discuss and then bring a recommendation to the council.
So I guess at this time, we're talking about, you know, does this council want to adopt this traffic calming study? And we would do it with the process of a municipal order. So do I have, anybody wants to make that recommendation? Do we do that?
I'd be happy to.
Okay. So you want to make a recommendation?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody good with that? All right, so we will make a recommendation to make municipal order to adopt the traffic study, okay? Calming study, all right? And we'll get that together. We could, what time? We could have it, could we have it, I know, could we have it by the next meeting? Or do we need to have it?
Yeah, go ahead and get it knocked out.
The next meeting would be the 22nd of September.
If that's okay with you, Emily.
Yeah, so we'll get that done on the 22nd at our
Okay.
next meeting to get that done. Thank you.
All right.
Next, we have the training and Senate program. Emily sent out some information on this. I think this discussion tonight, when we first wrote this up, it was just talking about council only. So the discussion is, do you want to, one, do you want to extend this beyond council members or staff? 2, and the amount, and correct me if I miss out on something, but I think this is where the discussion is. Where do you want to go from here with this? Because there's some information that we need to make sure that we get covered, so we know what our next step to do this, on this incentive program. I think Brian came in and gave a good program on what this contains here from KLC, and so these are some questions we need to know. Are there questions, or you want to discuss? Yes.
Yeah, I have a couple of comments.
Yeah.
When we did the budget, we did put in the amount of $500, and we did only consider the council, and that's what you had approved. And, I don't know the thinking on that. Except to say that, most of the council training is outside of the regular council work time. And if it's full-time employees, they're mostly doing their training during their work time, which means they're being paid to be trained. So I would recommend that we do the $500, which is what we did budget and we have approved. But on the first question about whether it's just city council or more, what we considered during the budget was just the city council.
Okay.
I think the only other thing that I would add to that is to make sure that we are recognizing the training that the other staff is doing
Sure.
as well for the recognition and the tracking and things like that. But from an incentive-only perspective, I agree with you 100%.
Okay. So, it's my understanding that yeah, go ahead.
I think we'll need to check to confirm, but I do want to clarify. So council plus mayor, I know most communities that do this do either all the electeds or all the electeds and certain staff members. So just something to consider as you move forward. I mean, this is going to live well beyond, hopefully well beyond anybody else's service here, but if the same incentive is there on all the elected officials, I think that is something to consider as well. And if we didn't budget for that, I know most of the conversation was around council, but just something to consider. We can always address that. It's not a monumental change to make in the budget amendment, so.
Is council plus mayor, that is the full extent of the elected officials? I think that's right. It should be fine.
All right.
And did we have one more question that we needed resolved, and that was the permission and proof that like the standard operating procedure for turning, getting the hours approved and turning that in. We had a sample in the packet that Emily sent out, which looked fine, although it said that the mayor was the approver and the person who would sign off on it, and I didn't know is that how most people do it, or is it human resources, or, what's the best operating procedure for that? Because that's one of the things I think that Emily asked us to address as well before this is in an ordinance format.
All I have is the template from KLC, so you would have to pass around.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Under section 4, it does make mention of proper applications made to the mayor or other designated officials responsible for budget administration, so.
So either I can do it or I can designate someone to do it.
Right.
Exactly.
So the one sample that you gave us seems to be appropriate. Are you all okay with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Does that answer everything that we need to answer?
So the last component under that section 4, it talks about the city has to establish a policy regarding the reimbursement and payment for attendance or participation. So I think we do have to go just one step further, and you all would have to pass a policy that basically dictates, my understanding is how you request to go to these trainings, and then how in your own budget you set up how the money is set aside and coordinated on the back end. So I think the model ordinance takes a step at a very basic policy, but if you wanted more detail or more of a role in guiding what that process looks like, you would have to work through that.
Is it something that we need to just do more work with before that, or is it something we can just do right now?
We can talk about it right now.
Okay. All right.
I think the goal is to get all those questions answered so we can move forward.
Right.
Okay.
So,
So if you're fine with the language that was proposed in that model ordinance, that's, like I said, that's just the basic, here's a policy, but if you want more detail, you will have to decide that.
Yep.
it looks pretty simple.
Yeah.
And I would say that if we needed to amend it later, if we got into it and found out that we wanted somebody else to administer it or whatever, that we could make the change then.
So it's my understanding as, right now, that, that for the training, to get approval for this training, it comes to me, and I have to sign off on it. Is that correct? All right. And the amount is 500? Okay? Yes.
So KLC's model ordinance does recommend, it gives you a suggestion how in the budget ordinance, how you set this up. And you all would have to add this into the ordinance, but their recommendation is to have a separate line item for each elected official.
Yes, yeah.
That is not in this model ordinance. So if you want to add that extra
Yes.
detail,
Yeah.
That would be a
I
good
think, yeah,
idea.
it would be better to do that. So that way you,
Yes.
I think that would be one way to track it, because you know, if you got a line item there, that period, you can track it and say, okay, Mr. Hampton went to this, and we got it, or Miss Sames went to this one, we've got that covered, and also I know I'm dealing with one person, not get confused and we're dealing with somebody else, or sign off on somebody else, or somebody say, well, I never got this training for this, so I think that will be good.
Well, and KLC is going to manage all
Yes.
of those records.
Right.
but What Emily was talking about was the actual budget line item.
Right, yep.
And I
I
see,
think the better line items,
Yep.
Right.
the better.
I see Stacy taking notes, so that wouldn't be a problem.
and I think the decision point, I guess technically they do offer you two routes. So one is, do you want to have to go through the application process where you basically say, Mayor Jenkins, I would like to attend these trainings, or alternatively, you're gonna know what the trainings are that are eligible, and then you get reimbursed, but you know you have a cap up to a certain amount to cover your training. So that is a decision point too. Do you want it to be application-based, or do you want it to be a reimbursement-based?
I would say
Reimbursement,
Reimbursement,
reimbursement based.
yeah. Because it's only approved trainings, and typically KLC is the one doing that, so we know it's
Yes.
legitimate. And so you don't have those kinds of decisions to have to make unless there's something outside of that.
Right. And,
Makes sense.
yeah.
Is there a way, Emily, to put in a line item after that to say that there, if something were to come up that the mayor approved, that could be added, that's not a KLC? Like, I'm just saying, you know, there may be something that somebody else was putting on that would be of benefit for us to go to. And if we say it's only for KLC sponsored events, so is there a way to say KLC and any other approved by?
The mayor,
I don't think we were saying only KLC, but that's who normally is putting these on.
Just
So
don't.
Leaving
don't-
it open.
Right,
Yeah.
don't tie us
Right.
into that.
so are we saying that we can still have, you know, can we have the application process on some things that goes outside of that, or what? So, that's my question here. Maybe I'm not asking the correct question.
Well, do you put that back on KLC, because they're the ones that would say whether it applies or it doesn't from a credit perspective?
I would agree with that.
So
Put that on KLC.
Yeah,
to make that determination.
Since they're gonna be managed anyway?
Right.
Okay, yes, Devin.
Yeah, I think that's contained in section 5, subsection 2, that essentially provides that process for how you submit those courses for evaluation and approval. So they're the administrator, which of course they'll get paid to do, but they're administering it. So you can submit it to them, they'll evaluate it, they'll see if it meets, you know, other qualifying courses that provide instruction on statutory duties of city officials, intergovernmental relationships, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it provides that avenue, but I think that's a good point, that they provide a lot of training, but there's definitely other things
Yeah.
out there. So.
Okay. All right. Okay, any other questions that we need to do with that?
I just wanted to ask, do you have everything you need
I
to
think
move
so.
forward? Okay.
Okay,
Yep, thank you.
okay, so we're gonna get a ordinance together for that? All right, and she will bring us to us in the near future, yes?
So just one other thought. So then, from a budget preparation perspective, that would all fall within the finance committee
Yes.
for the council.
Yep.
And making sure that we're all covered there.
Yep, yes,
For training as well as reimbursement and all those things.
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yep. All right.
So training hours is in here as well.
We had talked just offline, working through this and some
Yeah, yeah.
questions. An idea was if you as a body wanted to set a certain number of hours that you would like to challenge each other to participate in each year.
Right, thank you. I slept since then, I'm sorry. Again, one of the reasons that I'm so impressed with this system and think this is such a great idea is because it allows us to follow that principle of continuous improvement, because everything is changing, and, you know, there'll be, you know, new laws and things like that that come out. And so I think it is important for us as a body to stay up to date with going on, and so being able to maybe set a minimum number of hours, not saying what you have to go do, but you need to have some ongoing education as a body so that we're all staying as tuned in as possible.
Okay.
So if, you know, 10 hours or something like that is, because you can do that typically with one of these conferences very quickly, for a half day or a day.
So you're saying make that a requirement of the job?
For
For this-
reimbursement.
I think for this.
Well, it is, for
Yeah, yeah.
reimbursement, I believe what's in there is 15 hours.
Right.
So you, if you didn't make that unit,
Right.
you would not get reimbursed.
Right. But I guess, yes, I would recommend that there's a minimum number of hours that each one of us would do each year. And I'm open to what that number is. I just threw out 10.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure that we can do that. I don't know if, I would ask.
It's a policy, right?
It's a policy that you set
So
up for
we can
yourself.
change that, we can make that 10 if we wanted.
Well, you couldn't go below what so the program established through state law.
Okay.
Talks about training units, and so
Right.
you're under this in order to qualify to get that payment. My understanding is you would have to participate in at least one training unit per calendar year, and that is 15 hours of attendance. I think what Councilman Minke's saying is, and it depends on how you would write it if you put this in here. We know that if you want to qualify and get that reimbursement, you have to attend 15. But what he's saying is you could write in as part of your policy kind of a challenge or something to just set the
Yeah.
standard that, 15 is the minimum, but maybe you just want to make it clear that we as a body are striving for more or that sort of thing. You couldn't go necessarily less though, because that's
Right.
what it calls for, so,
Well, just not be reimbursed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So how does Kentucky Leagues, do their points, so 15 is like, did you say that was one?
That's a training unit.
It's one training.
One training unit, so that's like what we had the other night in here. Was that a training unit or not?
So I think if we had vetted that through KLC and said this is, they could let us know if that's something that would qualify.
But that's
Yeah.
something like that is a training unit.
No, that would be like a couple hours tops. And so it'd go towards the 15 hours.
Okay.
But like when you go to the conference, you'll do like 4 or 5 different sessions, and you get
So many
an
hours
hour,
each one.
for
Okay.
each one of those sessions that add up quickly if you're,
Right.
if you're attending a half-day or full-day session.
And I think that it's fine to say that that's what we would, what our standard is, but I don't think that you can mandate it, because I don't know, how would you punish someone who didn't go get about 5 hours training or whatever we decided? Kick them off the council?
I don't think there is any, I think it's an expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's fine, that's fine, but a mandate would be impossible to do, I think.
Any other comments or
You
questions?
could also just start with the 15 hours and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And if everyone goes above and beyond, then maybe you have some evidence to support it in the future.
Okay. So we do have a starting point of 15 hours for the unit.
For a training.
For a training unit. So I think, I agree that if we start there and see how this works out, and then from there, if we got to make adjustments or do anything else, we can come back to the table on that.
I will say the benefit is also in here that you do have the option to have carryover hours, up to 10 hours that you can push year to year. So to support pushing for a little bit
Right.
more, it's an incentive to you so that you have those extra hours just in case something happens and you're not able to go to training in the next year, that sort of thing. So obviously we'll know more once we work through this program, but that would be a reason to maybe consider advocating for more. But I think it's fair to start with the baseline and go from there.
And, Emily, since we will be starting this, if we pass this, we would be starting it in October or whatever, and this runs on a calendar year. Anything, I guess, that you earned between the October and the end of the year could be carried over, according to what you just said.
I don't know the answer to that. We would have to confirm with KLC.
Yeah, because it would, since there's no way to get that.
You could budget it
This year.
effective January 1 and just start with the fresh calendar year coming up.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay.
But basically, any training that you've had right now is documented.
Yep,
So-
but to KLC, they would have.
Right.
So if you attend any of their conference programs and so on, they got it. Because I get a record from that, and a matter of fact, I just went to another level. Imagine that. So I did do that, so I went up a little bit, yeah.
We can get clarification on that question and have that for you to consider
Okay.
so that we can decide if we need to put in an effective
An
date
effective
or
date or
if it
not.
starts. So we'll get that clarification.
All right.
Especially since we budgeted for it.
Yeah, and you might look to see, if they have end-of-year things coming up, you wouldn't want people to say, well, let's wait till next year and do that when it's part of our incentive. Or not that anybody here would do that, but, if you are going, you should probably receive credit.
Well, and KLC has their conference here at the end of September
Right.
in Owensboro.
And they have another one in the summer, too. They have a summer conference, too, so, and then one in the fall. So you have two other conferences. And they also have some other training that you can go online and look, and they can tell you. They have one with economic development where they do what the giving opportunity to actually sit in, and Kim not too far this, where you actually sit in and you actually, a company wants to come and relocate, and you sit there, you are the person that's deciding, with the incentives and so on. They tell you what they need, and you kind of work out how you're going to get them to come here. And then they get to choose which one where they want to go. So that's good, what city they decide we want to put in. So it's great training, and I think that I think we need to take as full advantage of this as much as we can. Yes, sir.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mayor. In my professional career or careers, I've done a few different things over the years. There were two things that I would do continuing education with. One was as an insurance agent. I would pay personally, as would all the agents, pay for that CE. As a real estate agent many moons ago, I think my annual dues would pay for that. But I've never been in a situation where I've been compensated for CE, which is essentially what this is. I would be open to, being in favor of this as long as what we were being compensated was very, very little and would make no dent whatsoever in the, with the taxpayers who ultimately we answer to. I would even be open to us doing this without being compensated. But I just think that we ought to put that out there that, as council members, we're leaders in the community. And if we are doing this, we should also consider doing this for the people of Georgetown and not to have us be giving ourselves a raise just for doing CE, which in other industries you pay for or it's done for free.
Now, help me out. I believe you don't have to accept, you don't have to accept this. You can say, well, I'm gonna do it, and, if you won't be reimbursed for it, that's up on you, but, you can say, well, you know what, I'm not gonna take anything, I'm not gonna take anything on that, but, I just feel that in some aspect I agree with that, but I also agree that some people, because of their jobs and so on, may have to take off work and so on, it's a little bit different, so each of his own, so.
Okay.
All right, any other comments on that? Okay, all right, I think Ms. Emily got what she needs to make this move forward. New business. Anybody got any new business?
Do we want to bring up anything about the CAD
Oh,
position?
yeah, CAD. Okay, I'm sorry, I went ahead. That's part of the new business, CAD. All right.
All right, good evening, council. This morning, we had a police committee meeting, and we discussed, or I brought up a proposal for them to sponsor, in addition to 911 center, I'm asking to add a personnel ordinance to create another position for the CAD administrator spot. We currently have one. We just added that about a year and a half ago. It's been very beneficial, but through that process, we've learned that it would be very beneficial and it's adequate to add a second one. One of the biggest reasons being is it is a 24/7 building that is constantly going, and it relies heavily on our CAD system, which is computer-aided dispatch. That CAD administrator takes care of the CAD system, which is our reporting system, how we get calls out to all of our first responders. They handle our MDTs, they get those up and going. They make sure those are running for the first responders. They also handle NetMotion, which is the VPN that pushes out the internet to our MDTs to be able to get that information. They handle the issues with phones. They have the ability to program radios and other tech issues that are inside the dispatch center. We've experienced some growing pains with that position. We had learned that one person under that position is a lot to take on, number one, but also the need to have two so we don't have the issue where that person either has to take an extended leave or they find a job elsewhere. That is a very vital role in dispatch, and it's one of those that we feel having multiple people in that position is the most beneficial to not only the city but also the county. Some of the roles are going to be split if we're afforded this position, just to take the burden off of one person, split the roles, and delineate the heavy workload amongst the two. The other goal with this is to provide a longer coverage with a CAD administrator. We have learned through the process, we've been growing with net gain and all of our tech issues that we've had, and them coming on board to help us out. But the CAD administrator, the CAD administrator plays a vital role with the tech issues. So if NetMotion goes down, yes, NetGain can get on the phone, but it takes a couple hours before we can get somebody to get that back up and going. But with the CAD administrator, them having the knowledge with NetMotion and the CAD system and our servers down at dispatch, it's very important to get those up and going quickly. So having a downtime of 4 hours is very detrimental not only to the staff and dispatch because they have to go back and manually log all the calls and they have to do it in chronological order, but it also is a problem for our first responders out there who might need to have access to information on individuals who could have warrants, individuals who could be missing, stolen vehicles, stolen firearms, and those types of things that we need to get back up and running. So I'm asking for your all's support in allowing us to bring a personnel ordinance to the council to add a CAD administrator to dispatch. Some of the ways we've ballparked with Stacy on how to finance this is taking an existing supervisor position, turning it into the CAD administrator, and just not funding that supervisor position with the hopes to bring that supervisor position back either next fiscal budget year or the next. Right now, they're looking at having a vacancy in that position due to some of the staffing issues they have. But with the understanding that this CAT administrator is going to be a vital role and help with some of that supervisor workload as well. So from my understanding, we looked at the budget with Ms. Clark, and the way it looks right now, there should not be an impact to the budget this fiscal year due to vacancies and with Lieutenant Moore retiring and that having a vacancy, as well as the assistant coordinator position was vacant for a month. So it kind of allows us to do this and have no amendment to the budget currently. Does that answer any questions?
Right.
I would say thank you for looking at ways to do this without adding positions. And the fact that, you know, you guys work there and you know what would work best with the people that you have and the responsibilities that you have. So as long as it wasn't going to impact the budget this fiscal year and that we would have time to review it in the future, I could be in support of that.
Technically, it adds a position,
It is.
but there's going to be a position that stays empty, so
Right.
that way the budget
Right.
will cover it.
And as long as, and that would not impact the budget then.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, as long as there's an understanding that that's the way we would handle it.
Yeah, but the next,
But the next
The next
year.
year, we will have to-
The supervisory position is not being requested to be removed,
yeah,
so.
And that would be up to the finance committee and
Right.
everyone who's to remember and look at that.
When the budget comes next year, then you reevaluate it and see what's needed or not.
Right.
all right.
So we need to request,
Yeah.
then our request is for that we create this position
Yeah,
as described.
okay. So we need to do a personnel ordinance to add a position for this.
Amendment.
Just requesting an amendment.
Amendment, okay, to the personnel ordinance.
Uh-huh.
To create a second.
Okay,
Yeah, and I'll sponsor it.
okay. Anyone else want to jump in? Okay, Ms. Brett and Ms. Sames will be the sponsors of that, so we're going to have an amendment ordinance made to that, and Emily will take care of that. Thank you. Is there any other new business? Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Over the last week, I decided to look into the Save-A-Lot rebuild situation. Probably just like everybody on council, you're always hearing from people wanting to know, you know, when is Save-A-Lot going to reopen? So I've got a colleague very familiar with the state building inspection office, and he says they are just inundated with permits and applications. Just they seem to get 100 a day, and they only are able to review about 10 a day. And the Save-A-Lot rebuild is evidently being handled through the state building inspection office, and our municipality doesn't have anything to do with that. Save-A-Lot apparently is owned by, I believe, Anchor Foods, based out of Lexington. I think they own multiple grocery stores throughout Kentucky, most of which are probably Save-A-Lots. So over the last few months, they have not really made any kind of progress, any substantial progress to get the rebuild started and getting all the permitting and everything moving along. So I've requested, and after talking with staff, that we do a formal study to see if we can expand our local permitting, perhaps bringing a resolution or a formal recommendation to urge the state to consider delegating more of the authority locally to our building inspection office, in the hopes that that might expedite the situation, since the community is really hurting, especially the downtown community, wanting to see the grocery reopen. And if we're able to ask the state to allow our local office to review plans, do inspections, it would, possibly help the timeline with the Save-A-Lot rebuild. If it doesn't help Save-A-Lot, then future situations like this, if we already have these policies and procedures in place, it might help future things that come along like this. So I just wanted to introduce this to council discussion, see if, what you all think might be the effective or most effective path forward with either some legal research, policy questions, practical questions for our local office. Of course, nothing has to be decided, or we don't have to make a lot of headway tonight, but I wanted to bring that up and see if anybody had any thoughts about that.
Well, I know that, and of course, yeah, it's talking about legal issues and so on, but it is, you got to figure out as to what is Save-A-Lot doing? I mean, are they getting their due diligence stuff in? If that might be the hang-up, and there's also might be some other legal issues that's going on behind the scenes that you and I don't even know about. So, again, government getting involved in that is a hard task for us to do, and having personnel to do it with, even with our own building inspection, they were inundated too with a lot of stuff to do. So, you got to be very careful about not loading them up on another avenue of things to do. So, again, just a lot of things to do and a lot of things to look into, but I would say that, this takes about, you want to make, yes.
Before the council discusses, so just one clarification point. So Save-A-Lot is working through the state process, but they have not submitted their construction documents, so they haven't even applied for the permit yet. So, I think that's a good point that you said, whether it's Save-A-Lot or another process, if you're interested in looking into it. The present case, Save-A-Lot's application for that permit has not been submitted yet, so they're still in the design architecture phase of preparing those construction documents. So don't disagree with the volume, and obviously it's council discussion to see where this may or may not go, but I did want to kind of provide that clarification point about where they are in the process right now.
Yeah, thank you. Any other comment? Yes.
So, I appreciate you taking a look at that and trying to help. I think one of the other things that has to be investigated there is the KRS of how things are delegated, because into state versus local delegation of those responsibilities, because that has a lot of cascading effects of why it was done that way and all of those things. So that's a whole nother realm of that has to be looked at, because there are reasons for a lot of that, so.
There's an application form specific to this that I forwarded to staff, and they're looking into it. And if it doesn't, so it has been done in the past, but just like all of us here on council and Mr. Mayor, we're just trying our best to help out.
Right.
And even though it may end up with the situation being fruitless, and that's good information to know, or not so good information to know that they haven't completely submitted everything.
Right.
And I guess that's just how it is with private companies. There's a lot of things that they're having to work out too.
Yeah.
But I know our heart goes out to everybody downtown, and now
Right.
it looks like it's going to be even longer than anticipated because of that. So.
All right. Any other new business? All right, at this time, Ms. Mitchell, since I'm looking at you, I'll let you start. You got anything?
All good, thanks.
Mr. Hampton?
I just want to thank you and everyone involved in Tahara visit. It was very successful. It was enlightening. Met a lot of interesting characters. It was really fun. Also with the Festival of the Horse, from the police chief and his department to Georgetown Fire Department, Chief Johnson, Robert, everyone did a great job. Even the guys, I don't know who they were, maybe you know, Chief Johnson, the ones bringing up the rear of the parade, they really had the bad job. So, even those guys too.
Behind the horses, yeah, that's always a fun thing to do. Okay.
And I do mean bringing up the rear, so, anyway, so, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Brent?
I have nothing, sir.
Mr. Mickey?
Just point of reference, So tonight at 8 o'clock on KET, the state Special Committee for Kentucky Housing Task Force is on KET. There's a discussion tonight with the co-chair, Representative Susan Whitten, talking about what the state's plans are for housing and affordability and all those kinds of things. So if anyone's interested in that, that's on KET tonight at 8 o'clock. So another point of reference and for additional materials for our housing study and that kind of thing.
All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Sames?
Just a shout out to the staff for doing an excellent job over the weekend. Everybody seemed to have a good time and enjoyed it. And the Tahara committee that put together the event last night was very nice. And Mayor, I wish you luck in your trip, and I know that you will enjoy it and be enlightened when you're there. And the Sister City program for 35 years has been a great success for our community. So you'll enjoy it, and I want to hear all about it when you come back.
First, I just want to get back, okay? All right. Mr. Chris?
I've got nothing, Mayor, thank you.
If there's no other business to be brought before this council, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.